This month, 10 million children will go back to school. More than half of them will be affected by bullying. And the trauma they suffer as a result can stay with them long after they leave the classroom. So a new campaign is being launched today called Back2School to raise awareness of just how damaging bullying can be. And it's seen several high-profile figures talk frankly about their experiences.
I was training at a football club and one of the other guys said a couple of racist words to me while we were playing, and the coach at the time fortunately kind of heard what was said, asked me what was said. I told him exactly what was said, and he reprimanded the young boy. He told the boy off, and the kid was told to leave the club and not to come back for a number of weeks until he'd learnt his lesson.
There's one thing that I think bullies find in the person that they're going to bully, and it's always difference. They'll find that thing that makes you different, and then they will pick on it and they will break it down and make you feel really bad about it.
The comments on my social media page, it was things like I realised that there was something really wrong when I was writing out like my interests on my page, like in the About Me section, and people would take exactly what I'd written and then just try and like tease me on every aspect of the things that I really like believed in and was passionate about. And I realised that at that point that it was just getting so malicious that I needed to kind of seek help and change it.
I think unfortunately the green-eyed monster set in for a lot of people who I thought were my friends, and life sort of just turned on its head. And I remember thinking I didn't understand why people were treating me this way, and it just started with name calling, with being excluded in the canteen. And I remember thinking the less of me there was, the less of me there was for them to hurt.
And let's speak to Alex Holmes, who's the head of the anti-bullying campaign at the Diana Award, the charity behind the scheme. Good evening to you, Alex.
Good evening.
We can't underestimate, this is such a big time for kids going back to school, because if they're being bullied, you won't want to go back, will you?
Absolutely. This is the week that 10 million children across the UK return to school. And we spend, as young people, 11,000 hours of our life at school. So it's such a crucial time. It's where we make friendships, but it's also something that shapes us for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember going back to school. I wasn't bullied, but it's a big deal as it is. So you can imagine it's tenfold, isn't it, if you're having problems?
Absolutely. And the research that we've released today at the Diana Award found that the nation reported that 56% had been bullied at school. So this is something that has a lifelong impact. It's affected their confidence, their self-esteem, and it's not just an issue for our young people.
What about social media? Because it's not just what happens in the classroom, is it? It can go on when you've left the school gate.
Yeah, and we're calling on trained anti-bullying ambassadors because we believe in the power of peer. And when you train young people to stand up for each other, those attitudes will follow them, and they will exist not only online but also in the street. So it's a really, really important thing to teach people about how to behave online and offline.
And it is important, isn't it, to address these issues, because those scars can go into people's adulthood, can't they? They can last for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. I think this is an issue for us as a society. It affects mental health, it affects future job prospects, and we're calling on parents today watching this to
I was about to say, because parents, they can often feel really helpless. They don't know what to do. Do they ignore it? Do they speak to the school? And what is your advice?
So parents watching this, you've got a really, really important role. Make sure your child knows that if they ever have a problem, concern or worry, they can come to you. Ask them for 5 people. Who would they go to if they had a problem? And make sure you're aware of your school's anti-bullying policy. Every school has to have one. Make sure you're aware of it and you're familiar. And I think we need to have more trained individuals in schools that can make a real difference and can influence behaviours and attitudes.
So that communication really, really key here.
Absolutely, yeah.
OK, thank you very much, Alex. Thank you.